On February 10th, 2006, Sant Amma was returning home from the Panchayat office after collecting documents for her newborn twin granddaughters. She was excited to welcome them into the world, unaware that within moments her life was about to take a horrifying turn. As she stepped into her house, what she saw shook her to the core. Her daughter, Ranjini, and her two infant granddaughters had been brutally murdered. The sight was unbearable. Who could have committed such a heartless crime? What kind of hatred could drive someone to slaughter an innocent mother and her newborns? This case, known as the Kerala triple murder, was not just another crime. It became the first case in India to be solved using AI technology. Ranjini was a 21-year-old woman from Anchal, a small town in the Kollam district of Kerala. She had lived there all her life, leading a simple and happy existence. In the same town, just a few houses away, lived a young man named Deval, an army officer. Over time, their paths crossed, and their casual acquaintance blossomed into a close friendship. As the days passed, their bond deepened, and eventually their friendship turned into love. Ranjini was just 20 years old when she fell for Deval, and as anyone who has experienced young love knows, the thrill, excitement, and intensity of first love are unparalleled. Ranjini was deeply in love with Deval, perhaps even obsessed with him. Their relationship grew so intense that they eventually crossed all boundaries of intimacy. However, there was one crucial detail. They were not married. Their relationship had reached a whole new level. Ranjini and Deval felt a deep sense of completeness with each other. She was completely immersed in her love for him. One could even say she was obsessed. Their bond had become so intense that they had crossed all boundaries of intimacy. However, one thing remained clear. Ranjini and Deval were not married. Despite this, their connection was so strong that Ranjini believed nothing in the world could ever separate them. Everything in her life and in their relationship felt perfect. But that perfection was about to shatter. Ranjini soon discovered that she was pregnant. The news filled her with immense joy. She believed this was a new beginning for her and Deval, a turning point that would bring them even closer. She envisioned a future where their love would take a new form, with a family of their own. But the moment she shared this news with Deval, her dreams crumbled. His reaction was the complete opposite of what she had expected. "This baby cannot happen. You have to get an abortion," he told her bluntly. Ranjini was devastated. She refused outright. For her, this child was a symbol of their love, and she was determined to keep it. She tried to reason with Deval, even pressuring him to take responsibility. But Deval remained firm in his decision. He wanted no part of it. In many cases, women in such situations are forced to give in to societal pressure. But Ranjini was different. She was determined to secure her child's rights, no matter what. Taking a bold step, she approached the Kerala State Women's Commission and had a legal notice sent to Deval, demanding a DNA test upon his return from the Pathankot army camp. This DNA test notice was about to play a crucial role in what was to come. As days passed, Ranjini's due date grew closer. She was preparing herself for motherhood, unaware that she was also stepping closer to something far more sinister. Because this is your child. As I told you before, Ranjini was determined to keep her child no matter what. Deval, on the other hand, was overwhelmed by the situation. Unable to handle the pressure and responsibility, he decided to escape from it all and return to his army camp in Pathankot, Punjab. He abandoned Ranjini in the most difficult phase of her life, leaving her to face everything alone. But even after Deval left, Ranjini stood firm in her decision. She refused to give up on her child, her last connection to the man she had once loved deeply. It was a decision that required immense courage. After all, she was young, heartbroken, and had been abandoned by the one she believed loved her the most. Many of you are aware of how difficult life becomes for an unmarried pregnant woman in Indian society. Every day is a battle, a struggle for survival. Society often labels such women as characterless, subjecting them to relentless judgment and harsh scrutiny. People question their morals, their upbringing, and their dignity. We've all seen such situations depicted in movies or reported in the news. How ruthless society can be toward a woman who finds herself in this position, especially when the father of the child refuses to take responsibility. But Ranjini refused to bow down. She was determined to fight for her child's rights. With the help of the Kerala State Women's Commission, she took legal action against Deval, ensuring that he would be served with a notice for a mandatory DNA test as soon as he returned from his army base. This test would play a crucial role in deciding the future of her child and holding Deval accountable. As time passed, Ranjini's due date drew closer. Realizing that she needed support, she decided to stay with her mother at a hospital in Thiruvananthapuram. It was there that she met a man named Anil. During their conversation, Anil revealed that he was also from Kollam, the same place where Ranjini had grown up. This common ground made her feel more comfortable around him. Anil's kind and helpful nature quickly won the trust of both Ranjini and her mother. He was always there to lend a hand, whether it was assisting Ranjini with small tasks or helping her mother in any way he could. But was Anil's presence in Ranjini's life a mere coincidence, or was there something more to his intentions? A stranger's help or a hidden deception? Anil continued to help Ranjini and her mother with small tasks, always being there whenever they needed him. He was kind, considerate, and genuinely seemed like a good man. Because of his helpful nature and the fact that he was from their hometown, their bond grew stronger. Ranjini and her mother felt comfortable around him, believing he was someone they could trust. During this time, the doctors at the hospital discussed the need for a C-section delivery for Ranjini. This meant she would require a significant amount of blood. Upon hearing this, Anil immediately offered to donate his blood if needed, as they shared the same blood type. This selfless act brought immense relief and gratitude to Ranjini and her mother. In such a desperate situation, having a stranger step up to help felt like a blessing, almost as if he was sent by God. Many of you might have experienced something similar in your own lives. Those moments when you are at your lowest, struggling alone, and suddenly someone steps in to help. It's human nature to trust such a person, to open up and share everything with them, believing they are on your side. And that's exactly what happened to Ranjini. She began to confide in Anil, sharing everything about Deval, how he had abandoned her, how she had once loved him, and how she was fighting for her child's rights. Anil listened patiently, nodding along as if he truly understood her pain. Then he made a promise. He assured Ranjini that after she delivered her baby, he would help her take revenge on Deval. He would stand by her, ensuring she got the justice she deserved. But what Ranjini didn't know was the dark truth behind Anil's kindness. Anil wasn't who he claimed to be. His real name was Rajesh, and he was actually a close friend of Deval. Deval had sent him to Thiruvananthapuram to keep an eye on Ranjini and her mother, to gain their trust and to monitor their every move. He had been lying from the very beginning. Unaware of this deception, Ranjini went through labor and gave birth to twin daughters at the hospital. It was a bittersweet moment. She had her children, but she was still alone. Rajesh, still pretending to be Anil, continued his act of being a well-wisher. He even helped Ranjini and her mother find a new rental house, convincing them that it would be better to move away from their neighborhood. He told them it would give them a fresh start, away from the constant judgment and questions from family and neighbors, and Ranjini believed him. She had no idea that moving into that new house would change her life forever.